very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Congress Working Committee approves Rahul Gandhi's elevation as the next party president. Election process to start on the 1st of December. BJP releases third list of 28 candidates for elections to the 182-member Gujarat Assembly. Sharad Pawar-led Nationalist Congress Party to contest polls on its own after alliance talks with Congress failed. The 48th International Film Festival of India begins at Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Stadium in Goa. Cinema enthusiasts look forward to watching nearly 200 films from 82 countries during the 9-day event. And first test match between India and Sri Lanka ends in a draw at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata, chasing 231 for victory. Sri Lanka scored 75 runs for the loss of 7 wickets before bad light stops play. Well, in a major decision just before the Gujarat elections, the Congress Working Committee paved the way for Rahul Gandhi's elevation as the party president. Party leaders today decided the election process, which will start from the 1st of December.
The Congress Working Committee on Monday approved the election schedule to appoint Rahul Gandhi as the next party president. Rahul Gandhi's name was approved at a meeting of the party's top leaders at current party president Sonia Gandhi's 10 Janpath residence.
कांग्रेस पार्टी इन संगठनात्मक चुनाव के बाद शायद देश और दुनिया के सबसे बड़े राजनीतिक दल के तौर पर उभरी है। कांग्रेस की विविधता की पहचान केवल इस बात से की जा सकती है कि इस देश के हर ब्लॉक, हर गांव और हर जिले के अंदर कांग्रेस पार्टी का यूनिट और कांग्रेस पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता मौजूद हैं।
The election notification will be issued on the 1st December. Last date to file nominations is 4th of December, which can be withdrawn till 11th of December. Polling will take place on 16 December if there are other candidates in fray. If no nominations are filed, Rahul Gandhi will be announced as party president on December 11th itself.
ये डिसीजन जब नॉमिनेशन खुलेगा और कौन-कौन पर्चा भरेगा उसी दिन पता चल पाएगा। प्रजातांत्रिक पार्टी है, हमारे संगठन में चुनाव होते हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के लिए चुनाव आज तक नहीं हुए हैं।
महीनों से हम लोग सुन रहे थे अगले महीने बनेंगे, नहीं बनेंगे। क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी में कोई ऑर्डनरी बूथ का कार्यकर्ता राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष कभी बनने की सोच सकता है? ये सवाल भी आज उठाने की इच्छा होती है। और आप देख लीजिए कि हमारे यहाँ अमित शाह जी बूथ के कार्यकर्ता थे, राजनाथ जी जिला अध्यक्ष के रूप में काम करते थे, गडकरी जी नागपुर में बूथ के कार्यकर्ता थे। हम तो बूथ के कार्यकर्ता को राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष बनाते हैं।
Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, party general secretaries and senior leaders attended the CWC meeting. The Election Commission had set 31st December as the deadline for the party to complete its organizational elections. Mohammad Fateh Tipu's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Addressing the Congress Working Committee meeting, Party President Sonia Gandhi criticized the centre on the winter session of Parliament. She alleged that the government had sabotaged the session on flimsy grounds. Sonia Gandhi further said that the government implemented an ill-prepared GST and burdened the public by announcing demonetization. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley responded to the charge, stating that it's not the first time that a Parliament session was rescheduled to ensure that it did not overlap with elections. He said the Congress itself had done so in the past.
गुजरात के चुनाव के मद्देनजर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी इन सवालों का जवाब नहीं देना चाहते, इसीलिए वो संसद के शीतकाल सत्र को बुलाने से बच रहे हैं। परंतु कांग्रेस पार्टी जनता की अदालत के माध्यम से ये सवाल पूछती रहेगी, ये कांग्रेस अध्यक्षा ने कहा।
ये एक परंपरा रही है और कई बार हुआ है कि जब चुनाव चल रहे होते हैं तो संसद का सेशन रीशेड्यूल होता है। कांग्रेस ने स्वयं कई बार सेशंस रीशेड्यूल किए, उसका समय इस प्रकार से दोबारा तय किया जाता है कि चुनाव के कैंपेन के साथ वो ओवरलैप ना करें। 2011 में उन्होंने किया, पहले भी करते रहे, और इसलिए संसद का सत्र निश्चित रूप से होगा, हर विषय पे होगा और कांग्रेस को पूरे रूप से एक्सपोज किया जाएगा।
Well, let's now get you some election-related news in Verdict 2017. Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani today filed his nominations for the Rajkot West Gujarat Assembly polls. Rupani filed his nomination in the presence of BJP's Gujarat election in charge and Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. Earlier, he also addressed a public meeting at Bahumali Bhavan in Rajkot. Tuesday is the last day to filing nominations for the first phase of the assembly elections, in which 89 assembly seats covering 19 and the 33 districts will go to polls. Voting for the two-phase polls are scheduled for December 9th and 14th. Counting of votes will take place on the 18th of December. The BJP today released the third list of 28 candidates for the elections to 182-member Gujarat Assembly. The names included in the list are former state BJP President R.C. Faldu, who will contest from the Jamnagar South seat. Former State Minister Saurabh Patel will contest from Botad, while Raman Bhai Vora was given a ticket from the Sada. The names of the candidates were finalized by the BJP Central Election Committee. Earlier, the party had released a list of 106 candidates. So far, the BJP has finalized the names of 134 candidates. Well, with just a day left to file nominations for the first phase of the Gujarat Assembly elections, the Sharad Pawar-led Nationalist Congress Party has decided to contest on its own. Senior NCP leader Praful Patel announced the decision after alliance discussions with the Congress failed. The NCP was reportedly upset after the Congress announced a candidate from Kutiana constituency in Porbandar. The announcement on a seat that is currently held by the NCP indicated that the Congress is not interested in an alliance with it. The NCP has 2 MLAs in the 182-seat Gujarat Assembly at present. In 2012, it contested 7 seats in an arrangement with the Congress. Well, India will host the Global Conference on Cyberspace on the 23rd and 24th of November 2017 for the first time. It is one of the world's largest conferences in the field of cyberspace and related issues. The curtain raiser events for the conference kicked off in the national capital on Monday. Here are the details.
Several run-up events were organized in New Delhi on Monday ahead of the 2-day global conference on cyberspace. Global leaders, policymakers, industry experts and cyber experts will deliberate on rules for a robust cyberspace at the conference that starts from Thursday.
Content must be allowed to be kept online so that free speech is protected unless they conflict with our terms of service. We have strong views on removing hate speech. We have strong views on removing speech that is violent or extremist.
That your fundamental right to free speech online under India's constitution and under the international human rights framework as well of the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights, there was an argument that the internet broadens the scope of communications.
The first global conference on cyberspace was held in London in 2011. The theme for the 5th edition of the conference this year is Cyber for All, an inclusive, sustainable, developmental, safe and secure cyberspace. More than 10,000 delegates from 123 countries will take part in the event that will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Unique Identification Authority of India on Monday clarified that Aadhaar data is completely safe and secure. It was responding to a report based on RTI that 210 government websites made Aadhaar information public. The authority added that Aadhaar numbers are not secret numbers and are meant to be shared with authorized agencies if one wishes to avail a certain service or benefit of government welfare schemes or other services. UIDAI further said that there was no breach or leakage of Aadhaar data from their database or server as has been alleged. The authority claimed that after the report, it acted promptly and directed the government departments and the ministries to immediately remove the data from their websites. Well, addressing a gathering of judges and lawyers of the Hyderabad High Court today, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said, be it a parliamentarian or a judge, we must do our best to meet public's expectations. The Vice President added that just as there should be discussions instead of arguments in Parliament, there shouldn't be delays in giving out judgments. Referring to the issue of vacant posts in courts, he said that the central government must work towards resolving it. The Vice President emphasized that all institutions have defined roles and that executive, legislature and judiciary must not encroach on each other's space. Bar associations of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana jointly organized the event.
We all, as people in the legislature, people in executive and people in judiciary, we must all adhere to the defined roles that are given to us by the Constitution and see to it that those values are respected and those laws, nobody should trespass to others' domain. That has been the wish of the founding fathers of the Constitution.
Well, the Vice President on Monday released a book, Modadi Patham, in Hyderabad. Underscoring the importance of the role of the teacher in a student's life, the Vice President said that the internet can be a source of information but can never take the place of a teacher. The book is written by well-known mathematician and senior former professor of Hyderabad University, Dr. Chukka Ramaya.
Manandaram, we are all wise men. So we try to learn from others' experience. So teachers, they should all learn from the experience of Ramaya garu. ఈ రామయ్య గారి యొక్క మొదటి పాఠాన్ని ప్రతి ఒక్కరు అధ్యయనం చేయాలా? ఆ పనిని సులభతరం చేస్తూ శ్రీహరి గారు విద్యామంత్రి నేను మా ఉపాధ్యాయులందరికీ ఒక పుస్తకాన్ని చేరేట్టుగా చేస్తానని చెప్పి అన్నాడు. దాంతోపాటు వాళ్ళందరినీ చదివేట్టుగా కూడా ప్రోత్సహించాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. చదివిన వాళ్ళు విద్యార్థులకు వాటిని తెలియజెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంతో ఉంది.
The 48th International Film Festival of India has begun in Goa today. The film festival is inaugurated by Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan. Information and Broadcasting Minister Smriti Irani and Goa Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar also attended the function. The 9-day extravaganza will see around 200 films from over 80 countries being screened. Among them are over 38 Oscar-nominated films. The opening film this year is Beyond the Clouds by Iranian filmmaker Majid Majidi, and Canada is the focus country. 7 award-winning films from BRICS countries will also be screened. In the Indian Panorama section of the festival, Vinod Kapri's Hindi film Pihu will open the feature film category section. 26 feature films and 16 non-feature films will be screened in the Indian Panorama section.
Minister of Goa, Shri Manohar Parrikar ji, it is our endeavour on behalf of the Government of India and the Government of Goa that we invite filmmakers from the world over to this land of stories, as King Khan said, connecting the world through stories. That is the endeavour of the 48th International Film Festival of India.
लेकिन हम लोगों ने फिल्म फेस्टिवल के साथ अच्छा फिल्म कल्चर चालू कर दिया. ये फिल्म कल्चर has now slowly developed. We are financing local movies also.
The International Film Festival of India, the slogan of this year, hopefully, will make that come true. Connecting the world through stories. And if I may extend it and say, connecting each and every one of us through stories and films here in Goa tonight and for all times to come.
Well, the Supreme Court on Monday rejected a plea seeking a deletion of certain alleged objectionable scenes from the upcoming movie Padmavati, calling it premature action. Advocate M.L. Sharma, who had filed the petition, alleged that though the censor board has not given a certificate to the movie, the songs of the film have already been released. Sharma had approached the court seeking a direction for removal of all scenes of alleged Queen Padmavati from the movie before its release. Meanwhile, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that any distortion of historical facts will not be tolerated and the movie will not be allowed to be shown in Madhya Pradesh. Viacom 18, the makers of the film, had yesterday said that they have deferred the movie's release, which was originally scheduled on December 1st.
हम लोग पूरा प्रयास कर रहे हैं, पूरा प्रोसेस फॉलो करने का, और कोशिश ये रहेगी कि बहुत जल्दी हम लोग जो हैं किसी एक सब चीज़ जो है ना विवाद की जगह हम विचार विमर्श की आवश्यकता है.
As you see, there's been a statement that the production of the film is made, saying that they have chosen to defer the film because we want to go through the due course, we want to go through the right channels, we want to go through the entire process, and we're hoping that the CBFC will clear the film very, very soon.
A quick look at what else is making news across the country in our segment Nationwide. Veteran Congress leader Ranjan Dashmunshi, who was in coma since 2008, passed away at a private hospital in New Delhi today. He was 72 years old. Dashmunshi served as Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting and Parliamentary Affairs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the demise of Dashmunshi. The Supreme Court today ordered a stay on a new path to Vaishno Devi Shrine in Jammu that was directed by the National Green Tribunal for pedestrians and battery-operated cars from November 24th. The Apex Court accepted the petition of the Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board that said construction is still going on and the path could be opened in February next year. The Delhi High Court today directed the centre and the West Bengal government to file their responses on the petition by the BJP leader Mukul Roy, alleging that the state police was tapping his phones. Justice Vibhu Bhakru told the centre, state government and Roy's telecom service providers to file their affidavits by December 7th. The Supreme Court today denied permission for a multi-level car parking facility near the Taj Mahal in Agra. It said tourists visiting the heritage site should walk instead of coming in vehicles. On October 24th, the court had ordered the demolition of the parking lot while dismissing the Uttar Pradesh government's application to cut down 11 trees to facilitate the project. It's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, Germany is staring at a political crisis as the high-stakes talks on forming a coalition government in Germany have failed. German Chancellor Angela Merkel's fourth term is now in doubt, with the free market liberal FDP pulling out after 4 weeks of negotiations with her conservative bloc and the Greens. Failing to form the government, Merkel said that she regretted the collapse of talks. She said that she would meet the president to inform him of the developments. Walking out of the talks on Sunday night, the leader of the pro-business FDP, Christian Lindner, said that there was no basis of trust to forge a government with Merkel's conservative alliance CDU-CSU and ecologist Greens. Accusing the FDP of negotiating in bad faith, the Greens said that a deal could have been done despite the differences. With no other viable coalition in sight, Germany may be forced to hold new elections. Angela Merkel's conservative bloc won the September vote, but it turned out to be her party's worst performance since 1949.
Beinhaltet eine Koalition, bei der Partner sich finden sollen, die sehr, sehr große Wege zu gehen haben. Und deshalb bedauere ich es auch bei allem Respekt für die FDP, dass wir keine gemeinsame Lösung finden konnten.
Den Geist des Sondierungspapiers können und wollen wir nicht verantworten. Viele der diskutierten Maßnahmen halten wir sogar für schädlich. Wir werden gezwungen, unsere Grundsätze aufzugeben und all das, wofür wir Jahre gearbeitet haben.
Well, in the latest from Zimbabwe now, a deadline for President Mugabe to resign passed on Monday without any statement from the veteran leader. The deadline was set by the ruling ZANU-PF party, which Mugabe co-founded and led for decades. Here are the details.
After nearly 4 decades in power, President Mugabe, despite being ousted as party leader, still seems to be having his way. The veteran leader surprised Zimbabweans by saying nothing about quitting in a TV speech late on Sunday, and a deadline set by the party for Mugabe to resign came and went on Monday morning. ZANU-PF party leaders are now backing impeachment and have said that proceedings could begin as soon as Tuesday when Parliament meets. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's war veterans who have always backed Mugabe have also moved court to legalize the military action against the president.
We have gone to the court today. We are hoping that the case is registered to say that Mugabe, he was derelict of his executive duty, forcing the head of the army to intervene to arrest the criminals. And the army is now done its job. And the people of Zimbabwe on Saturday took off from where the army had left.
Generals in the military who have seized power have given in to many of Mugabe's demands, including full immunity for himself and his wife Grace, and that he would keep his private properties. But the open defiance shown by the 93-year-old has put political and military leaders in a fix, with massive protests and rallies carried out by citizens all across Harare and other towns seeking the resignation.
We are still very optimistic. We know that he's very much cornered. There is no way for him to turn. There is no way for him to go. And we know that this week he is stepping down. Those were just words of an old man. We're looking forward that he's still going to step down.
They should push to the goal. Mugabe must go. That's my opinion.
Mugabe and his wife Grace have been under house arrest since the military seized power last Wednesday. The opposition MDC-T party has tried unsuccessfully to impeach Mugabe in the past, but this time the ruling party, which has an overwhelming majority in both houses, is likely to go against him. Sacked Vice President Emerson Mnangagwa has been named as ZANU-PF's new leader and candidate for the 2018 general elections. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Asia-Europe foreign ministers meeting kicked off in Myanmar on Monday under the backdrop of the Rohingya crisis. But there is still no clarity on whether the violence in Rakhine State will be a major discussion at the two-day meeting of Asia and European foreign ministers. More than 600,000 Muslims Rohingyas have fled to Bangladesh since late August, causing international outcry. Meanwhile, China has proposed a three-phase plan for resolving the Rohingya crisis, starting with a ceasefire followed by bilateral dialogue and then finding a long-term solution to the crisis. Bangladesh Foreign Minister Abul Hassan Mahmood Ali is expected to hold bilateral talks with Myanmar later this week to discuss the repatriation of the displaced Rohingyas.
In our ASEAN context, there is a vital need for new and stronger partnerships to address far-reaching challenges such as the impact of regional and international conflicts on domestic security and the threat of terrorism and violent extremism in their various forms and manifestations.
那么这个倡议呢，在孟加拉国得到了孟方领导人的赞同，昨天在缅甸也得到了缅甸领导人的赞同。我们希望这个建议能够有助于。
Well, here's a roundup now. Some more news from around the world in Global Buzz. India is hoping its candidate Dalveer Bhandari will win by a two-third margin in the election to the panel of judges at the International Court of Justice, or ICJ. The United Nations is expected to vote later on Monday for a new member to the panel of judges at the ICJ. Bhandari is pitted against Christopher Greenwood of Britain in a two-way contest. The vote is seen as tricky because Bhandari has the support of a majority of the UN General Assembly members, while Greenwood has the support of the members of the Security Council. Observers the permanent members of the UN Security Council are unnerved by the prospect of India's nominee winning. A powerful 7 magnitude earthquake struck off the eastern coast of New Caledonia, which triggered a brief tsunami warning and evacuation alert. However, there were no immediate reports of any damage. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center issued an alert for areas including Vanuatu and New Caledonia. Sirens were sounded briefly along coastal areas of the Loyalty Islands, and some residents were also told to evacuate. Egypt opened the Rafah border crossing on the border with the Gaza Strip for 3 days for humanitarian cases. It is the first time that the Islamic militant group Hamas has given up control of the Gaza crossing with Israel and Egypt to the Palestinian Authority. The move is considered as new window of opportunity for the region. Palestinian officials believe that the temporary border opening is a positive step toward achieving a successful Palestinian national unity. Well, moving on to some sports news now. The first test between India and Sri Lanka ended in a draw at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Chasing 231 for victory, Sri Lanka were 75 for 7 when bad light stopped play in the first of 3 tests. Batting in the second innings today, India declared at 352 for 8. Skipper Virat Kohli top scored with 104 not out, while Shikhar Dhawan scored 94 and KL Rahul scored 79 runs. In reprise, Sri Lanka lost quick wickets with top scorer Niroshan Tikwela managing to score just 27 runs. Dinesh Chandimal scored 20. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who picked up 4 wickets to give the visitors a scare, was named the man of the match. Mohammad Shami also picked up 2 important wickets, including Chandimal and Dimut Karunaratne. In the first innings, India were all out for 172 runs. In reply, Sri Lanka posted 294. Well, here are some updates from the world of sports in Sports Beat. Indian boxer Shashi Chopra advanced to the pre-quarterfinals of the Women's Youth World Boxing Championships at the Nabin Chandra Bardoloi Indoor Stadium in Guwahati. Shashi defeated her Uzbekistan opponent Rakhmatova Durdanokon in all 3 rounds of the featherweight category and will face China's Lin Li Wei Yi next. Czech tennis player Jana Novotná, who was a Wimbledon champion in 1998 and 16-time Grand Slam winner in doubles and mixed doubles, passed away at the age of 49 after a long battle with cancer. Novotná entered the Tennis Hall of Fame in 2005, and in a career span of 14 years, she won 24 WTA singles titles, 76 doubles titles and a singles Grand Slam at Wimbledon in 1998. Bulgaria's Grigor Dimitrov won the biggest title of his career after defeating Belgium's David Goffin in the ATP Finals in London. Dimitrov defeated Goffin 7-5, 4-6, 6-3 in a 2.5-hour-long match. The win earned him 1,500 ranking points, putting him in the 3rd position in the world rankings, just behind Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. Finland's Henri Kontinen and his Australian partner John Peers won the doubles title at the ATP Finals for the 2nd year. The duo defeated world number 1 pair of Poland's Lukas Kubot and Brazilian Marcelo Melo 6-4, 6-2. Kontinen and Peers lost their opening round robin match but came back quickly to win back-to-back titles at the season ender. This was their 5th title of the year, which includes their first Grand Slam triumph together at Australia. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.